Hey guys, what's up? Seb Almighty here, bringing you the first in a few series on Arma 3, where we look at some of the rifles and weaponry available, and just give you a bit of an independent review on some of the weapons and some of the mods and add-ons that you can find within the Armaverse. Now, I'm going to start off by saying that these are independent reviews and opinions and thoughts. They are not affiliated with anything to do with Arma 3 or any of the mod creators. They are independent, generic reviews from myself regarding the weapons and all the mods and add-ons and that kind of stuff. So just wanted to get that out of the way. But first and foremost, we're going to have a look at one of the latest DLCs that have been released for Arma, which is the Marksmen DLC that got released a couple of weeks ago, a month or so ago, and have a look at some of the weapons and stuff that's been added onto the Marksmen DLC. So I wanted to basically look at the weapons first and foremost, because as an avid Arma player with over 2,000 hours of game time on Arma 3, I use weapons a lot. So I'm an infantryman by kind of trade in the game. I prefer to be on the ground, fighting, on the front line with and I've been looking for kind of a personal weapon now for quite a while, and I've been growing increasingly frustrated with standard weapons that are available. I tend to use kind of realistic weapons in the sense that I use modern day weapons that you find in today's military organisations. So the US M16, the US M4, the British L85, the German G36. Russian AK-47, Russian, AK-74, and typically the weapons I use are 5.56mm weapons. They are becoming grossly ineffective with certain mods, missions, and game types in Arma, and that's primarily to do with the way that Arma has set up its kind of its game and its system in terms of use of body armor and defensive systems and all that kind of stuff. I'm finding 5.56mm weapons in certain game modes are really underpowered, and it becomes a bit of a problem because you find yourself getting killed more often than not, and you find that it's taking 5 or 6 rounds to bring someone down. Now the Marksman DLC got released, has a whole bunch of different caliber weapons, and the one I want to look at today is the one I'm currently holding, which is the Mk1 EMR 7.62mm marksman rifle. This is becoming one of my favourite weapons in the short time that I have been playing with this weapon. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at it, have a look at the add-ons, have a look at the extras and stuff that you can tweak with it, and we'll take it into the field and we'll have a little play with it, and I'll give you my honest opinion and review on it. So what we'll do is we will head to the virtual arsenal, and as you can see, I'm sporting a modded uniform, probably one of my favourite uniform camo patterns available on the Arma game, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So the weapon we're using is the Mk1 EMR 7.62. Now it's typically a kind of a marksman rifle. As an assault rifle, it is very good. I have used it in that kind of capability and role. However, things to bear in mind are it only has a 20 round capacity magazine, so if you're using it in kind of an assault rifle rapid fire mode, you will run out of ammunition very, very quickly. The accuracy in kind of quick fire mode is grossly spread. Shots just go everywhere. This weapon does come with semi-auto and fully automatic fire modes. However, fully auto is not recommended in any way, shape or form. The accuracy and spread of the shots are just ridiculous. It's just not worth it. So we're going to keep it on single shot. Now, the weapons list here, bear in mind I have a lot of modded weapons and add-ons for Arma, too many to mention, so your virtual arsenal, if you use virtual arsenal, will look grossly different to mine. Yeah, so don't worry too much about the add-ons and stuff that I have compared to what you have. The principles and stuff are still the same. So in terms of scopes, you have any kind of vanilla or modded scopes should work. 99% of the scopes and optics will work with this weapon. I typically tend to go for the RCO scope. It is my favourite scope for short to medium range engagements with the enemy. It comes with the red dot sight on the top and the magnification optics actually inside the sight, so I've got the best of both worlds for short to medium range engagements. But you can add pretty much anything, and obviously the Marksmen DLC, for those that you will know, do actually come with a range of scopes, depending on what theatre of engagement you're going in and what your kind of role is. Now with Virtual Arsenal, you can tell which are the Marksmen DLC by the little sniper symbols next to the weapon. So if you're unsure of what's related to Marksmen DLC, you can find out by the little logo that's next to the item in question. So I'm going to go, basically I'm going to build this weapon how I would build it and how I would typically use it. And obviously the RCO scope is the scope that I'm going to use. Rail attachments, again, it depends on your kind of preference or anything. You can put like a nice little flashlight on, you can see there on the side of the barrel, or you can have laser sight, or there's quite a nifty weird XM8 under barrel light module there that does fit onto the weapon quite nicely actually. But again, it depends on what you want. I typically go for laser systems. Very handy if you're using it in the night time. Obviously with your night vision scope you can illuminate targets and pinpoint objects pretty easily. We'll go for the camo one, and I'll show you why in a minute. Suppressors. Now typically I always equip myself with a suppressor. It doesn't matter what kind of engagement I go in, I always equip with a suppressor. I don't always keep it on the weapon, but I've always got it with me just in case we decide to do a stealth operation, or try and take out targets without alerting too much attention. Now the ones I have here are modded. They come part with other weapon packs, but as you can see they are pretty much compatible with the weapon, and you get a whole range of different sizes, different shapes, and different camos. I'm going to go with the woodland one again, and I'll show you why in a second. Bipods. Marksmen DLC comes with a huge range of bipods to use for weapon resting and that kind of cool stuff. I'm going to use a AAF olive bipod to keep with the kind of generic woodland theme we're going here. Now the reason I'm going with this kind of woodland paint scheme attachment is that this weapon does actually come with a wider range of paint schemes. We have a camo one there which is loosely based off the multi-cam MTP setup. There's a khaki one there which is green and black for woodland environments. There's a sand one there for obviously tan desert environments, and there is actually a full-on woodland one to use, which kind of looks like the old US woodland camo that the US Army used to use before it got replaced. But it also works well with British loadouts, old DPM loadouts, and any kind of woodland camo works very well, and I quite like it. It's quite quirky, it is cosmetic at the end of the day. It doesn't have any kind of enhancement or anything like that. It is just pure cosmetic, but if you want the full loadout and you want the full immersion, then boom, go for it. So that's pretty much the weapon setup that I tend to go for. I do also in my vest tend to carry a either where has it gone? An LRPS scope, which is there, or one of the Marksmen scopes. Where have they gone? The AMS scopes. Now I tend to keep these in my kit just in case I need to do long range engagements, sniping, or anything like that. It is perfect for that kind of engagement. This rifle can be used as a sniper rifle if need be. I tend to think of it more as a kind of support marksman weapon rather than a full-on conventional sniper rifle, but it can do both roles pretty effectively. It has good range, good accuracy at long distance, and I'll show you a bit more in a moment. So what I'll do is I will just equip my RCO, save this as, whoops, save this as test, and then what I will do is, the horrible thing about Arma is it can take a while to get set up, because there's so much options, so much configuration, so much kit, it's ridiculous, but that's why I love this game so much. Okay, so we'll add the khaki one, we'll save it. It is a bit of faffing about, but anyway. Right, we're now saved, and we have both the scopes and stuff that we can use. And what I'm going to do as well, because I've completely forgotten, is just equip this with a whole range of magazines and ammunition, otherwise we're not going to get very far. Okay, quickly save it. This is only a test run anyway. What we'll do is we'll go out into the field in a minute, into an actual combat situation, and I'll show you the weapon in action. But what we'll do is we'll just take it onto the taxiway here and just kind of show you it in action. Now we'll just take a few kind of shots and you know, just kind of show you this thing firing. So we'll get into the firing position with the bipod down. If you don't know what button it is, it's C on your keypad. Press it and you get in and out of position. Now this is the LRPS scope that I like to use for long distance. It's a very, very good scope. This weapon will go up to about 1600 meter range. I've never ever tested it at that range. Like I said, I don't see this as a conventional sniper rifle. There are better options available with the Marksmen DLC for full-on conventional sniping. This I see as a support marksman weapon. For medium to long range engagements, it is good in short range engagements, but it is kind of optimized for medium to long range engagements. So what we'll do is we'll just have a look at this, and that's obviously with the suppressor, and you can see I'm hitting the generator box there pretty much bang on where I want to. And what we'll do is we'll take the suppressor off, and you can hear it without the suppressor. Cover your ears. Ooh, that was nice. It does sound very, very nice, this one. But like I said, I tend to use it with the suppressor equipped, primarily because I like to try and keep some form of clandestine approach to my gameplay. It doesn't always work. Eventually we get found out and get bumped and all the rest of it. But this is it with the RCO scope, my favourite scope. You've got the red dot there on the top, and then you can switch to the actual optic, which is very, very good for short to medium range engagements. It's a very clear scope, very clean scope, and gives you perfect kind of visibility. Doesn't include any kind of illumination optics or anything like that. It is kind of a daytime scope, but very, very good for, like I said, the short to medium engagements that I tend to find myself in quite a lot. And as you can see, very good, very accurate weapon. It is becoming probably one of my weapons to use for the majority of engagements. Like I said, I have been using M16s and AKs and all the rest of it, and I'm just finding them in particularly this type of gameplay that I play, domination, insurgency, battle zone, that 5.56 just isn't cutting it anymore for me. I shouldn't have to put 5 or 6 rounds into someone 150 meters away to kill them. to me, that's ridiculous. Not only does that consume a large amount of your magazine capacity, it also puts you in a very, very vulnerable position. I have a realistic approach to weapons. 2 or 3 shots max should be the limit to at least drop someone or wound them. But obviously, the way that Arma's scripted, I was taking 5 or 6 shots, and each time the enemy were just sort of flinching and firing back as if they'd been hit by a branch rather than a bullet. So what we'll do now is we'll go into the battlefield. We've got a capture mission down here to do, but I'm not actually going to do the whole mission. I'm just going to go in and just shoot a few enemy and just kind of show you this weapon in actual action. Now, before we go in, I don't claim to be the best shot in Arma, despite me having somewhere in the region of 2,000 odd hours on this game. I am still quite a mediocre shot. Some I hit, some I miss. I don't need the abuse in chat or anything like that I'm a shit shot. I know that I occasionally miss. I hit more often than not, but there are times, just like anyone else, where I miss. So, it may happen, just to warn you guys, but that's the way that the game is. So, just wanted to say that before I get loads of people saying that I'm crap at shooting and whatever. It's not needed, and anyone doing that will be kind of removed. Now, if I was doing this game properly, I would have kind of stealthed in a bit more better than just parachuting straight on top of the target area. But I just wanted to quickly show you this weapon in action and just kind of give you my thoughts on the weapon in actual combat situation. Now, we have a patrol just behind us. I'm going to try and find some enemy quickly. Like I said, I'm not being overly proper with this. It is just a test. Had I been playing this properly, I would have inserted a bit more stealthily and not run around like Rambo. We have an enemy up there who's facing away from me. Ooh. There you go. Now, obviously, I missed a few of those shots, but I hit him twice. 2 of those shots were enough to bring this guy down with relative ease. 1, 2, and they're down. That's what I like with a weapon, okay? I don't like it where I'm repeatedly hitting people 5, 6, 7 times, only for them to kind of turn around, shrug it off, and shoot me in the face with no issues whatsoever. I'm getting shot at somewhere pretty close. But yeah, this weapon has really, really good stopping power. Even at long range as well, you can find yourself, one shot, boom, he's down. Absolutely no messing, no screwing around. Now the AI settings are on actual normal standard settings. They're not enhanced or tweaked in any way, shape or form. This is a mission called Battlezone Altis that you can find on Armaholic and on the Steam Workshop. Just search for it. It is a very, very good mission, and I highly recommend it if you're into the military gameplay. Or if you play things like Arma Life or Epoch or anything like that and just want to change it up a bit and just do something more military like, this is a very, very good game. Comes with a whole range of missions and tasks and scenarios, from assassination to defend, search and destroy, capture, all that lovely cool stuff that you like with traditional domination type games. So yeah, this weapon is very good stopping power. It has very, very good range. Don't think of it as a kind of an assault rifle or as a sniper rifle. Think of it as something in between, which is what a marksman rifle is or should be. It is very good at medium to long range engagements, but equally good at short range engagements if you have to. The magazine capacity, pretty standard, 20 rounds. If you use it as its intended purpose, will do the job just fine. You shouldn't need any more than 20 rounds in this weapon. It comes with a whole range of customizable options, and you can add modded stuff to it as well if that's what you want, and that's what I've done. So all in all, I'm going to give this weapon pretty much a 9 out of 10 for its purpose and its use. I could have gone 10 out of 10, but there are a lot more kind of better weapons out there for specific roles. This is an excellent multi-use weapon, and definitely one that I would recommend using in pretty much all of your combat scenarios. But give it a go if you haven't tried it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I will be doing some more very soon. But any questions or comments, feel free to leave in the box. But from me, Seb Almighty, take care, bye for now, and see you guys real soon.